30 seconds and counting. 25 seconds and counting. We are still go. 20 seconds. Guidance alert. The guidance system now going internal. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening to our viewers in Africa and Europe. Good afternoon to viewers in most of the Western Hemisphere, and good very early morning to viewers in the Pacific Rim, and welcome to a very special episode of The Angry Astronaut. May have a little bit of technical struggle on this one. We've run into a couple of little hiccups already, but thanks to our fantastic producer, we've managed to get going anyway. And we see that people are already sounding off. We got Dublin, Texas, and we got South Delaware. Check. Let's see. It's Timur Novmatov. No, is that not? No, wait a minute. Normatov. Timur Normatov. I have no idea. Northern Ireland, Nottinghamshire. We have Phoenix, Arizona, and also Spain. Thank you very much for checking in. Let's see. So it said Zvuka Niet. Not sure. Again, I'm not sure what that meant. I can pronounce it, but I can't translate it. Hello, Louisiana. Thanks very much. Hello, Manchester. Farouk, New York, New York. Okay, so we are having some audio issues. Producer, is that confirmed? It is. Well, let me go ahead and confirm that. That's very strange that we're having audio this time, but then again, it happens from time to time for some reason. Go cancellations off. I don't know. It's yet another mystery going on with the audio. We'll do our best to hang in there. And right now, without troubleshooting the whole thing, I haven't the slightest idea where we could rectify it. But I'm going to go ahead and make a couple of adjustments that might do something. I have no idea. Once again, I apologize. But what I do know is that we had some difficulties on our OBS software. So that could be contributing to all of this. But let me go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and do a couple other little modifications to see if there's anything. So in any event, guys, without troubleshooting it right now, which we really can't, we're not going to be able to figure that out. But fortunately, people are saying that the sound seems to be okay. Okay, so it's Uzbekistan. Timur is checking in from Uzbekistan. So thank you very much for identifying where you're checking in from. We also have South Carolina. We also have Tashkent. Well, okay, so it's Tashkent, Uzbekistan that Timur is checking in from. I don't think I've ever had a viewer, at least not on the live stream, from Uzbekistan. So really appreciate you being here. It looks like we already have Ispace going live. This is, of course, their this is probably um, copyrighted music going on at the moment. But here we go. Okay. Let's go ahead. No, actually, that's music, so we can't. Right now, they're talking about water resources that they're going to try to help exploiting. That's one thing they've got on this lander that they didn't have on the last one, by the way, is a rover designed to for reconnaissance, for scouting out the lunar surface. So, of course, they're going to have to successfully land, which they didn't do the last time. So, fingers crossed. We'll see how that goes. Hello, Lagos, Nigeria. John, thank you. John Morgan, thank you so much for the tenor. Really, really appreciate your support. So yeah, this is let's hope they pull this off. Like I say, they didn't do it the last time. But you know, practice makes perfect when it comes to landing on the moon. And in addition to that, I'll tell you, iSpace has had a lot of time to prepare for this because it takes a long, long time for the Hakuto lander to get to the moon, an enormous amount of time. And that's simply because they don't have the big engines on this thing that a lot of the other CLPS landers do. By the way, this is not part of the CLPS program. This is a private Japanese lander that's looking to take advantage of increased interest in the moon. But in any event, the reason they can't get there is they don't have big engines. They were not launched by a big rocket. It was actually a combined mission, a shot done in conjunction with the Firefly lander, the Firefly Blue Ghost. And that being the case, the Blue Ghost is the one that got that got to lead off. They got the majority of the trajectory, whereas this iSpace lander was not as big of didn't pay as much for the ride, and so therefore they didn't get as aggressive a trajectory. That's not how they do things. The way they do it is they use the Earth, they use gravity, one slingshot after another, gradually, bit by bit, building that up. Do we have a producer? Do we have a stream to where we can get some commentary from these folks? Okay, right now, not for me, no. Okay, so right now, okay, but we have translation. So right now, actually, we have a translation as to what's being said um, in Japanese currently on the broadcast. And again, this is copyrighted music that we have at the moment. So we're waiting for commentators to come on. Japan did not use their own booster on this one. This was a Falcon 9 that launched not only this probe, but in addition to that, also launched the Blue Ghost lander at the same time. Blue Ghost, of course, made its way to the moon a lot more swiftly because it had bigger engines to carry out the job. This is a smaller lander. It does not have a lot of fuel. It does not have big engines, and so it has to use these multiple flybys of the Earth, utilizing gravitational slingshots again and again and again until eventually it builds up enough velocity to transition to TLI, translunar injection, and then start making its way to the moon, again, utilizing the gravity of the moon to gradually pull it in. And that's why it's taken months. So it looks like this broadcast should be starting here really, really soon. But once again, 3:10 JST time, which is right now, is my understanding. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. All right, David, I'm not sure what to tell you. All I know is that this here we go again. This is more commentary coming, and once again has more copyrighted copyrighted music, more of a lead in to what's going on here. And of course, you have some English translate up. this fellow speaking English, and you see the Japanese translation, of course, below. So, of course, you see the big human factor contributing. I've ran into these people many times at multiple aerospace conventions, IAC, Space Symposium. They always have a big presence. So they are really, really counting on making all of this happen. Thank you so much, Robert. Really, really appreciate it. Can't update Patreon payments. Robert, I appreciate your support. I'll see what I can do. I'll see what's going on with the. Yeah, if you open up a trouble ticket with Patreon, they'll be able to help you with that issue. Open it up with their customer service. It's probably the quickest way to get resolution on it, to be honest. Dean, you're right. The math of figuring it out is amazing. Just one gravitational slingshot maneuver after another, so many of them before you can eventually make that transition until you hit that sweet spot to where you escape from Earth's gravity and transition into the grip of lunar gravity. And it is a process that takes a very, very long time, months and months. And so that's why we're looking at June, even though this launch took place in the winter, it's, of this year. You're looking at June before an actual landing attempt. And again, with the Ispace lander, with the Hakuto lander, they're going to need all of that propellant just to maneuver into the appropriate landing trajectories and to set down. That's about all their engines are capable of doing. Not a lot of thrust from location to location. If you wanted Hakuto to go on a more direct route, they would need a dedicated launcher. In other words, an entire Falcon 9 or maybe a Japanese H3 or a Vulcan Centaur, something like that. If they had a dedicated launcher, then they could make a direct shot to the moon with one of those, because this is not a particularly heavy lander compared to some of the others that have gone out recently. But at the same time, that would cost a lot of money, and Ispace doesn't have a ton of money to invest in these things right now. And so as a result, they're willing to spend the extra time to get to their destination. In terms of landing locations, because I saw that question was asked, and something, they actually have not it's not on their website, but they may have some more information here elsewhere. Just a moment, and let me go ahead and get this to you. The Mare Frigoris, that's the primary landing spot in the middle of Mare Frigoris. All right, and just for fun, because that's a region of the moon that I am not as familiar with. So let's go ahead and check out Mare Frigoris according to the BBC. Now I'll see if I can give you guys a little bit of information on that. Mare Frigoris managed to hold on. Okay, let's see. It's a long, thin lunar sea stretching east to west along the northern part of the moon's disk for approximately 1,400 kilometers. And its average width is about 250 kilometers. The age of this feature is 3.9 to 4.6 billion years. So this is one of the older features on the surface of the moon. The central and western parts look like they can curve concentrically, with another feature called the Mare Imbrium, while the portion to the east looks as if it's concentric with the Mare Serenitatis. As a result, Mare Frigoris forms the eyebrows of the man in the moon. It's devoid of features like faults and domes. It seems to be most of its feature set is made up of impact craters, and that's about it. They coexist with lines of lighter ejecta laid down by larger impacts. There are some dramatic rays laid across the floor of this feature by the 124-kilometer wide crater Goldschmidt, which lies further to the north. The largest local crater is the 90-kilometer wide Aristoteles, which sits in the south of the eastern portion of the Frigoris. So that's let's see, what else can I tell you about this? It's high terraced walls, ejecta spreads across the Mare floor. Frigoris appears to curve beneath. Okay, we got that. Oh, looks like we're about to get started with the broadcast. Let's go ahead and listen to what Ispace has to say.
Welcome to the live streaming event for Ispace's Hakuto-R Mission 2 Venture Moon Lunar Landing. This event will be conducted in Japanese, but you can enjoy the live broadcast by accessing Ispace's official YouTube channel. Enjoy the live broadcast in Japanese on the Hakuto-R channel, and for simultaneous English interpretation, go to the Ispace channel.
For English interpretation of our live stream, please access the Ispace YouTube channel or ispace-inc.com/landing.
I'll be your MC for today's event, Kevin Zaleski from Ispace PR, and I'm Riko Shintaku from Ispace IR. Thank you all for joining us today. So Riko, landing day is finally here. It really is, Kevin. I believe everyone is, but I'm half nervous and half thrilled. I can't wait. I know exactly what you mean. With this anticipation and excitement in the air, we're thrilled to bring you the most exciting moment of Mission 2 live tonight. After launching in January 2025 and spending nearly 5 months traveling through space, Ispace's Resilience lander and Tenacious rover are now on the verge of achieving Japan's first and Asia's first privately led lunar landing. For those of you joining us for the first time, allow me to give a brief introduction to Ispace. Ispace is a global company engaged in lunar exploration. Our vision, expand our planet, expand our future, reflects our mission to harness space for the benefit of humanity so that people on Earth can continue to live prosperous lives into the future. We aim to expand the sphere of human activity into space and create a sustainable lunar economy. To begin, we're offering reliable payload transportation services, that is, delivering customers' payloads to the moon and providing lunar surface data. What truly sets Ispace apart is our global presence. While today's broadcast is from Japan, we also have offices in Denver, Colorado in the United States and Luxembourg in Europe. With a team of approximately 300 members across these 3 locations, we continue to grow as a global enterprise. Our first commercial lunar exploration program consists of 2 missions. Mission 1, which attempted a lunar landing in April 2023, unfortunately did not succeed. However, we applied the lessons learned from that mission to prepare for today's second landing attempt. Mission 2 includes not only a lunar landing, but also plans for lunar exploration using our own in-house developed rover. And that is not all. Team Driver Commercial Mission 1 will deliver NASA payloads from the Apex 1.0 lander developed by our U.S. subsidiary, Ispace US, to lunar orbit and the lunar surface. TDCM-1 will contribute to the U.S. Artemis program through this mission. All right. Today's live stream is coming to you from Otemachi, just a short distance from the Hakuto-R Mission Control Center in Nihonbashi, Tokyo. We are broadcasting from Rising Square, a venue provided by Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation, one of the official partners of Hakuto-R. As you can see, we're joined here by a wide range of people who support Ispace, corporate partners, clients, representatives from government and financial institutions, members of the space industry, and of course our employees. It's truly a gathering of what we might call the Ispace ecosystem. We have a total of around 550 people here tonight, and despite the late hours, the energy in this room is incredible.
Are you guys ready
Everyone,
for the lunar landing?
are you ready for the lunar landing?
ありがとうございます。もうすごい熱気で
Thank
すよ
you.
ね。
Wow, that's amazing. I really can't wait to celebrate a successful landing with all of you. The expected landing time is less than an hour from now at 4:17 a.m. Today we're scheduled to reach milestone Success 9, completion of the landing sequence, which refers to the lunar landing itself. As for the subsequent milestone Success 10, stable operations on the lunar surface, it may take some time to confirm after the landing. Depending on the situation, the announcement may be made after the live event concludes. But first, let's check in with the Mission Control Center. The Resilience lander, currently on its way to the moon, is being operated from the Hakuto-R Mission Control Center, MCC, in Nihonbashi, Tokyo. As you can see in the live footage, the Ispace team is actively preparing for the landing.
はい、もうご覧いただいているように、
As you can
こう皆
see,
さんちょっと緊張した面持ちが伺えます
everyone
ね。
seems quite nervous. Yes, the MCC crew in Nihonbashi is already fully focused and in mission mode. Also, during the landing, we may hear live audio updates from MCC. If any English announcements come through, the venue speakers will jump in and explain them for you. So stay tuned. Additionally, the Resilience lander is about to perform a maneuver to leave lunar orbit.
はい、それでは今日この着陸に向けて
The preparations for today's landing have actually been underway at the MCC for several days already. Now let's hear from the MCC crew to better understand what's coming up in the next hour as the lander makes its final approach to the moon.
So go ahead and cut me in, please. All right. So once again, we have copyrighted music currently. So in any event, I apologize that we have to cut this fella off real quick. But in any event, very interesting. They haven't even begun the descent level. They are still in lunar orbit at the moment, which is quite interesting. Also, what I'm very impressed with is that one of their two spokespeople, his Japanese, once again, I'm not an expert in Japanese, but man, it sounds pretty good. And again, you don't run into that a whole lot where you have Americans, Europeans, whatever, who are able to pick up the language that thoroughly. This guy really does a good job with that. The fact that he's one of the narrating in Japanese and clearly not from Japan. Very, very interesting. So anyway, Mike, thank you so much for your support. Really, really appreciate it. That's 2 actual super chats that the awesome Big Mike, longtime supporter of this channel, has made. Really, really appreciate it. So once again, we're looking at the setup for the lander and the process here. Again, they are about to enter into that approach trajectory. And from where they are now, which is still in low lunar orbit, and then once they are in that approach trajectory, they are committed. Quite committed indeed. So Farouk, I'm on this broadcast for as long as it takes. That's the way it always works with these things. I'm here until at least we have a good idea as to whether or not we have a success or failure on touchdown. That's how we do things here on the Angry Astronaut. We're here for as long as it takes to get this done. So because very interested in what's going on with Ispace. We want to see if they're able to pull this off, because if they can do that, that demonstrates that private landers from all over the world can make this happen. Let's go ahead and go back to Ispace now.
to perform a maneuver to leave lunar orbit, which is phase 1. There may be an announcement after this critical operation, so let's continue to keep a close watch. As announced earlier, Resilience has already performed the lunar orbit departure maneuver. We'll be monitoring the phase 1 and departure from orbit, so let me take a moment to explain what those mean. The landing process is provided into 6 phases, and in the very first phase, the lander fires its thrusters briefly. That deceleration causes the spacecraft's orbit around the moon to gradually drop. Through that deceleration, the lander descends from lunar orbit and gradually approaches the moon's surface. After departing from orbit, Resilience continues to approach the lunar surface, descending from an altitude of 100 to approximately 20 kilometers. This marks the start of landing phase 2, cruise descent. Yes, that's exactly right. We'll take a closer look at the upcoming landing phases later on, but as mentioned earlier, the lander has already entered its autonomous guidance process following a pre-programmed sequence. In other words, from this point on, the Ispace team will not manually control the lander. Instead, they will monitor the status as it proceeds toward landing. There was announced, DOI confirmed. So that means
all right, we got orbital insertion, guys.
Has been successfully executed.
So we've got orbital insertion going, guys. So now we are committed. Ispace is committed to this landing.
Thank you very much. Now, during tonight's event, the Mission Control Center will be using real-time data called Telemetry, which is transmitted directly from the Resilience lander to help visualize and explain the lander's current status in an easy-to-understand format. This screen you're looking at is a visualization of telemetry data received from the lander. Please note that some of the data is still pending and will be received later. Once confirmed, we will provide updates in this format again. Wow, there's a lot of information here so that our viewers can follow along on their own. Could you give us a quick user guide or how to read this display? Absolutely. First, in the 2 circles in the upper right corner, the numbers show Resilience's current altitude above the lunar surface and its velocity. As for the altitude, it will be displayed once the data has been received later on. Below that, you can see the estimated time remaining until landing. Please note that this is subject to change based on data received from the lander, so we ask that you view it as a reference only. I see. So that means the live data from the lander is being reflected on the screen, right? The countdown to landing is just for reference then. I'm really looking forward to seeing the altitude display. It really adds to the sense of realism. Exactly. It helps you picture the situation more clearly. Just below that, we're also displaying the thruster status of Resilience. The large circular shape represents the main thruster, and next to it, you can see the status of the 6 assist thrusters. These thrusters will fire or stop depending on the landing phase. When thruster is firing, it lights up blue. We'll explain more about this screen as we go along. Okay. And now, we'd like to take a moment to hear a message from one of our very special guests who has joined us here in person today. We're honored to welcome none other than Mr. Hiroshi Yamakawa, President of the JAXA, Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency. Mr. Yamakawa, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. I am Hiroshi Yamakawa, President of JAXA. I thought quite a bit about my speech, but I'm overwhelmed by your passion at the moment. First of all, I would like to offer words of congratulations to everyone who has been working so hard to welcome this day. CEO and founder, Mr. Hakamada, and everyone at Ispace, everyone associated to this event. Up until today, I know all of you made hard effort to come to this point. And many missions and projects we have undertaken at JAXA. We have welcomed many guests like this. So I understand how you feel right now, quite nervous and thrilled and excited, I'm sure. But at the same time, very excited and passionate about what's going to happen. I feel the same. And I'm so looking forward to this. And I have a chance to speak with you. I speak with everyone in the industry every week, and lots of people from all over the world, and lots of people talk about your venture, your project, this Hakuto-R event or project. I'm so looking forward to what's going to happen today. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Yamakawa.
Got about 46 minutes, guys. 17 past the hour. Actually, about 45 minutes at this point to estimated
even more
touchdown.
Special is that we're connected to 3 global venues. In addition to our venue here in Otemachi, Tokyo, we're also connected with Ispace's offices in Luxembourg and Denver, Colorado, as well as in Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States. First, let's start our live check-ins. First up in Luxembourg. This year marks the 20th anniversary of Luxembourg joining the European Space Agency, and a special commemorative event is being held today. So today's event is hosted by the Luxembourg Space Agency, LSA, and many are watching to cheer on the Resilience lander and the Tenacious rover developed in Luxembourg as they prepare for landing. The Tenacious rover heading to the moon was developed by Ispace's European office with the support of LSA, and if today's landing succeeds, it will become the first European rover to drive on the lunar surface. Many VIPs, including representatives from the Luxembourg government and the European Space Agency, are watching the Resilient lander's descent in person at the venue. And today we are hearing comments from 3 distinguished guests. First is the CEO of the Luxembourg Space Agency, Mr. Marc Serres, and the Director of Commercialization, Industry and Competitiveness at the European Space Agency, ESA, Mr. Chiladi Najas, and then also the Dr. Julian Lamman, CEO of Ispace Europe.
Hello, everyone.
I'm Janet, launched from Cape Canaveral on a SpaceX Falcon 9.
Once again, come on, make some noise. There we go. Got to get it up there. Got to get it up there.
Come on, come on, come on. Wow, that is intense. Thank you so much. And then just what's new in space in Luxembourg and Europe?
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining us from all over the world here in Luxembourg. This means a lot. We have several hundred people here in this movie theater and another movie theater behind me. And of course, everybody came here to witness the landing of Resilience, but also cheer for Tenacious. Tenacious has spent 5 months in space. It's really eager to stretch its legs and go for a ride on the moon. Tenacious means a lot to the crowd here. It was built in Luxembourg by our team, Ispace Europe. Shout out to Ispace Europe, please. And of course, to build a lunar rover in Luxembourg, the first lunar rover in Luxembourg, the first European-built rover to have gone into space. It takes a lot of talent, it takes a great team, also takes the support, trust, and I would say love from the European Space Agency and the Luxembourg Space Agency. And this is why I'm very happy to give the floor to Géraldine Nadja, Director of Commercialization at ESA, and then Marc Serres, CEO of the Luxembourg Space Agency.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you. Well, I can just say that ESA is extremely proud and thrilled to support Ispace Mission 2. we will provide, we provide ground services, we provide telemetry and tracking, which is essential infrastructure for lunar exploration operations. So we are very happy for that. I would like also to say that this is a very good example of how we can support new space actors in Europe, commercialization. This is, as you know, what we are really eager to do at ESA, and also to support eventually a sustainable European and Japanese presence on the moon. So this is really good. And last, I think Tenacious is hopefully a very successful technological achievement, but beyond the technology, it's also, once again, a symbol of the future of lunar exploration. So very happy to be with you.
Thank you, Geraldine.
So, of course, I'm very happy, and I think all the team is very happy to be here tonight and part of this really amazing event. It's a very emotional moment to be here and to be connected with you in Japan, to watch this memorable moment. As you heard, there is a lot of excitement, but at the same time, a lot of tension here. We are all sort of looking at what will happen now in a few minutes. This is not only, of course, this very important moment for Ispace, but I think for us it's also a way to celebrate a very good cooperation with another country, with Japan. I think this is something that is very close to our heart. We believe that cooperation is one of the component, the ingredients of success in space. And we have said it several times, this is difficult to go to space. And so this is a really remarkable achievement. Whatever happens, I think we would like here to very warmly congratulate Ispace and the teams behind, because this is an incredible achievement, doing what they have done just in 8 years. I think it's just exceptional, and so we are extremely proud as well to be here and to share these great moments with you.
Thank you so much. Let's do this.
Thank you very much to everyone in Luxembourg and to our entire Ispace Europe crew. 皆さん、ありがとうございます。
Thank you, everyone. Let me briefly summarize, what we just heard. So we heard that 750 people have gathered in Luxembourg to witness this historic moment, and there's great anticipation for future collaboration on commercial mission under international cooperation. And the ESA is supporting Ispace's mission too by providing ground station services, and emphasized that this mission is a powerful example of promoting commercial innovation and new space. Tenacious is not only a technological achievement, but also represents Europe's role in shaping the future of lunar exploration. And LSA has supported Ispace's challenge from an early stage, especially in the context of lunar exploration. And they mentioned also that the development of a Tenacious rover is the result of Luxembourg's robust space industry and strong international partnerships. Thank you, everybody in Luxembourg, and then go Tenacious. All right, thank you from myself too. And next, let's head over to our U.S. venue. In Washington, D.C., we've set up a public viewing event. So government officials, representatives from NASA and other space agencies based in Washington, and members of Ispace US are gathered to watch the M2 landing. Today we will be hearing from the following speakers: the NASA Office of International Interagency Relations and our Deputy Associate Administrator, Ms. Karen Fulstein, Commercial Space Flight and Federation President, Mr. David Cavosa, and Ispace US Chairman, Mr.
Everyone, are you ready to land on the moon?
Are you ready to land on the moon?
I'm not.
Hey guys, we can't
think
hear
they're having
you.
audio problems there as well.
It's possible that you have to turn on your audio feed. Sorry about that.
Yep, we're not hearing any response from the U.S. I'm sure there'd be lots of enthusiasm.
少しちょっと音声がこちらには届いてないんですけれども。
はい、we can't hear you guys.
I'm not sure what's going on.
No,
Well, we can see them anyway.
Please, Ron, go ahead.
There we go.
Luxembourg set the stage for us, and we had to get a higher bar. So thanks Julian, for that. But we're all here. We got about 150 people, very, very excited people gathered here in Washington, D.C. So let's all say hi. Ohio gozaimasu, everybody in Tokyo. Kevin-san and Shintako-san, can you hear us?
Yes,
Yeah, it sounds like they're having some problems with this broadcast.
Oh, super. So, like I said, we got a whole bunch of people here. We're all really, really excited. So far, we've been talking about the historic significance of the regolith transfer that we're going to do and how innovative activities like that, innovative programs like the NASA CLIPS program is going to spark a commercial lunar market that's going to allow us to take off exponentially in our development of the moon, of our exploration of the moon, and that's going to lead to a significant permanent human presence on the moon for the benefit of all. And as you have already mentioned, I'm joined here by Karen Feldstein, NASA's Associate Administrator in the Office of International and Interagency Relations, and Dave Cabosa, the President of the Commercial Space Federation. And Karen, do you have some words you want to say to our global Ispace team, to people that are viewing from all around the world?
Love to. Thank you. First of all, greetings to Tokyo, and if you can hear us in Luxembourg, it is incredibly exciting to celebrate this moment together with our partners all over the world. We are so excited to see this mission today. You've talked about these big milestones. We are so proud at NASA of our CLIPS program and the stimulation we've given to creating this lunar economy and creating a predictable environment. So important to operating at the moon. We have also inspired our president to propose for NASA the commercial Mars payload system as well, to launch robotic precursor missions to the Martian surface. So on and on we go. We know now astronauts from Japan will walk with America on the surface of the moon through Artemis, and that we'll learn how to live and work together on another world. So we celebrate all of you, all of the amazing engineers and scientists watching tonight. Good luck, Ispace.
Thank you, Karen. Dave, would you like to add some words there?
Thank you, Ron. The current golden age of space exploration didn't happen by chance. Advocates and policymakers in the United States and throughout the world have worked for decades to open space to commercial space exploration and public-private partnerships, just like we're watching today. We've worked for decades to commercialize and make space launch affordable. We've worked for decades, and to be honest, we're still working to ensure that commercial entities like Ispace can launch and operate safely in space through common sense policies, best practices, and reasonable regulations. We are stronger and can achieve more together with these dynamic public-private partnerships that leverage private investment and industry's innovation. Godspeed resilience.
All right, with that, back to you, Kevin-san and Shintako-san, and Godspeed resilience, Godspeed Tenacious. We're going to do this. All right.
Washington, D.C., thank you so much.
Right, thank you very much, everybody. We're out there in Washington, D.C. Here's what we just heard. So first, NASA is working to strengthen partnerships both domestically and internationally. One key example is the Artemis Accords, which now has around 50 signatory countries. Japan was among the first 8 nations to sign. NASA has also expressed a strong support for Ispace's mission 2, with high expectations that a Resilience lander and a Tenacious rover will make important contributions to our understanding of the moon. And the Commercial Space Flight and Federation is working to expand the Earth's economic sphere, reinforce U.S. leadership in aerospace, and inspire the next generation of engineers and explorers. And they are highly valuing the Ispace's continued effort in lunar exploration, and they noted that its innovative technologies and persistence mission progress are advancing the development of the cislunar economy. Thank you, everybody from Washington, and thank you for joining us. And finally, let's connect it to the viewing event at Ispace US headquarters in Denver, Colorado. And as we heard earlier from the team in Washington, Ispace US is currently preparing for Mission 3.
Ispace US crew, are you guys excited about today's landing?
Excited about today's landing, Ispace US crew. I like it. There's just a little bit of a time lag, but the team in Denver is also pumped up too, and absolutely. And let's take a look at the video message from Elizabeth Christ, the CEO of Ispace US.
My name is Elizabeth Christ, CEO of Ispace US.
Okay, we have more copyrighted music. Once again, for those of you just joining us, the Ispace lander is a private lander that's carrying a rover and other scientific experiments to the surface of the moon, to a region of the moon that's to the north, rather than towards the South Polar region, an area called the Mare Frigoris. So in any event, that is where this thing is headed to, and it is part of the overall program of establishing a permanent presence on the lunar surface. But this, for the most part, is an experimental landing. This is just sort of a proof of concept with a first-time rover that was provided by the European Space Agency. Hence, that's why we had Luxembourg contributing to the mission as well. So yeah, it is as I say, a private mission that is obviously supported by government agencies. Hence, you had NASA representatives, you have ESA representatives, you have JAXA representatives, all talking about what this means. So in any event, that's what we have coming up, and we have a landing. Yep, we have a landing coming up in 34 minutes, roughly. Yes, go ahead and put the audio back for Ispace.
This truly shows how Ispace operates as a private company within a global network, bringing together around 1,500 people across 4 international locations to support this mission. And this live stream, both the Japanese and an English versions, is being watched by a large audience around the world. Thank you all so much for your incredible support from all corners of the world. Thank you. Well, now that we've felt the incredible energy of support from around the world, and we have another very special message to share. We're honored to present a message from the 32nd U.S. Ambassador to Japan, Ambassador George Glass, who assumed his post just this spring.
Greetings from one mission control to another. I'm George Glass.
All right. So once again, now we have the U.S. Embassy saying what they're going to say. Copyrighted music, so that's why you can't hear it. But in any event, yeah, that's here we go. We're getting close. We're about 29 minutes away from the estimated landing time. Once again, it's hard to make a solid determination on this because this lander, Resilience, is going to seek out a safe place to set down. It's going to utilize its LiDAR and its artificial intelligence to find the best place to set down, and that might take a couple of minutes before it actually does so. And then they need to ping the thing. They need to send out a signal. Are you there? Yeah, I'm there. Are you intact? Yes, I'm intact. Or no, I've fallen over and I can't get up, or whatever response we end up getting. Fingers crossed, of course. We are hoping against hope that Ispace is successful this time. They are definitely a cut rate operation. This is not an expensive lander here. These private landers do not begin to cost as much money as the old NASA Sojourner missions, the unmanned missions that were the precursors to the Apollo landings on the moon. These things don't have anything like that kind of price tag associated with them. So when you cut back on budget, you're also cutting back on redundancy systems and capabilities. So sometimes it can be a little dangerous. So once again, let's go ahead and bring Ispace back.
This part of the program, we're honored to welcome one more very special guest. Rico, could you do the honors? Of course. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you today the Minister of State for Space Policy of the Cabinet Office and a member of the House of Representatives, Minister Minoru Kiuchi. Minister Kiuchi, thank you very much for joining us today. Good morning, everyone. I am also excited and nervous. I'm truly honored and happy to witness this historical moment with all of you, this historical challenge by Ispace, and also great expectations for our space industry of Japan. I'm feeling that very vividly. The lander's name is Resilience, as you know. Just as the name suggests, Mission 2 is a re-challenge, a bold attempt to return to the moon, drawing strength from last year's experience. And I'm hoping that it can take some images of the Earth from the surface of the moon. Quite nervous and excited. And I would like to share with you messages from people all around the world, or for the people from viewing from the world. This is not just a challenge, but it's a great challenge of people who will never quit or never give up.
To everyone watching this event from around the world, this is more than just a landing. This is a call for those who never give up. Let's witness this historic moment together. Thank you. ありがとうございました。
Thank you. Mr. Kiuchi, thank you very much for being with us tonight. Thank you so much, Mr. Kiuchi, Minister Kiuchi, for joining us today. Now, Resilience lander is continuing its descent toward the lunar surface smoothly. Let's take a closer look at the landing process. Please watch this explanation from the Hakuto-R Mission Control Center team.
Okay, so we've got copyrighted music again. I'll try to convey this information to you to the best of my ability. Okay. So all of this is just a standard procedure. They utilize the engines to slow down that approach as the orbit drops lower and lower to where the velocity is down to a point to where they can flip over and land successfully. So the deorbit insertion that they're talking about right now, they're already in that phase. All right, so coast descending is the second part. So this is a very gradual process of closing in on the lunar surface. To about 10 kilometers, that's when they hit phase 3, which is the braking burn. That's the part where they've really got to try to slow down so that they can make a stable descent. So the pitch up is where they flip the vehicle over at phase 4 once they're going slow enough. And then it's time to begin the landing process. Then the terminal descent phase is when they're essentially vertical or close to vertical, although they still have a little bit of horizontal velocity as well. They want to keep that down to a minimum. And then the main engines cut off during phase 6. And then it's just these tiny little maneuvering thrusters that are involved in settling down on the lunar surface. All right, we'll bring Ispace back now.
Thank you, everyone at the MCC. By the way, we have a total of 6 payloads of our customers on the lander and the rover.
No.
The first one we are introducing is the Tenacious micro rover developed and manufactured by Ispace Europe and Luxembourg with the support of the Luxembourg Space Agency. If this mission succeeds, it will become Europe's first lunar rover to drive on the moon. Next, we have a water electrolysis device from Takasago Thermal Engineering, also loaded onto Resilience. One of Ispace's key missions is to explore and eventually utilize lunar water resources. The hydrogen and oxygen produced through water electrolysis converted into liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen can serve as a critical energy source in space. Resilience is also carrying a payload developed by National Central University in Taiwan, a device that measures radiation levels in space and on the lunar surface. This data will help improve the design of electronic components which are heavily affected by the space environment. Furthermore, there's a payload developed by Euglena, a company engaged in algae research and development. This experiment focuses on algae growth and could contribute to future food production in space. Resilience isn't carrying just specific payloads, it also includes cultural and artistic objects. Resilience carries a GOI Universal Century Charter Plate created as part of the Gundam Open Innovation Project led by the Bandai Namco Group. And finally, as a payload on the Tenacious rover, there's a small red art object called the Moon House created by a Swedish artist. In addition to the payloads mentioned above, Resilience is also carrying a memory disk from UNESCO designed to preserve humanity's linguistic and cultural heritage. They are transporting quite a variety of things. Mission 2 is not only a technology demonstration for accelerating lunar development, but also a part of the Hakuto-R program designed to validate Ispace's business model for lunar transportation services. Let's welcome someone who knows the Resilience lander better than anyone. Joining us now is Mr. Yoshitsugu Hitachi, Executive Vice President of Engineering at Ispace and the lead for Mission 2 development. Mr. Hitachi, good evening or good morning or good day. I'm confused now. Well, I'd like to ask you about Resilience that's now on its way to landing on the moon. Could you share with us, frankly, how you're feeling right now? Let's see. After Mission 1, in order to welcome today, we have been preparing so hard to be fully prepared for today. And earlier, I was a bit nervous, but on the stage, looking over you, all of you, I am beyond nervous. And what we as a team are trying to achieve, I am looking forward to that. I am rather excited. My heartbeat is so strong that it'll probably jump onto the moon. That's how excited and thrilled I am right now. It's been 2 years since Mission 1. So the development of the lander and the growth of the team, has there been any progress? Well, as was seen in the video footage at the beginning, we did not have a good luck in Mission 1. We did not succeed in lunar landing. However, in a sense, it was a successful experience for us because we are now able to leverage what has been learned from that experience, reflect that onto our next mission. And there are a lot of things we did for Mission 1, and our team members experienced all of those. And we are now endeavoring to achieve this new mission. We have come this far, and the team has grown so much. Good, amazing leadership and followership. with those, we have built a strong team spirit. And this is not just brown-nosing. This is not to brown-nose our team members, but every day I work with each member of the team, and I know how much they have put into this work through our daily conversation and seeing them every day, how they work. I know how passionate they are. Every day I feel that firsthand. The team is marvelous. It's amazing. Thank you. The team has grown so much more even. And another question that I have is regarding the engineers. I'm sure they're busy right now. What's the atmosphere like at the site or MCC? Yes, as was announced at the MCC earlier, the OI detachment or departure from the orbit has been completed, and right now it's going into the autonomous driving phase. So many different preparations are necessary for that, and that's very important. And they have been very busy because of that. But the moment to go into the autonomous driving, we have been preparing perfectly for that moment, and we'll just do what we have prepared for this moment. And after the landing, whatever happens, we should be able to cope with it because we're ready, we're prepared. That's why we've been very busy to make ourselves prepared for that. Okay, so at the moment, Resilience is autonomously proceeding with its landing sequence, and when it transitions to the next landing phase, it will adjust its thruster firings for attitude control and continue descending toward the lunar surface. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. We're so looking forward to it. Can't wait. Thank you, Hitachi-san. Mr. Hitachi.
Right, we're just a moment away from landing, only 15 minutes to go. Before that, let's hear from the team at MCC Tokyo about what's planned after touchdown.
All right, so we got copyrighted music. Again, we got 15 minutes of discussion has been taking place in the chat regarding the Mars atmosphere. I remember when I first saw this that movie, The Martian, with my family. A comment I made pretty much right off the bat was that after we walked out, was that the storm that they experienced at the beginning was not possible. That Mars atmosphere was not dense enough, regardless of the wind speed, because the Martian atmosphere is less than 1% as dense as that here on Earth. You just don't get powerful winds. It's impossible. So anything that would blow a lander over or send an astronaut flying through the air, that doesn't happen on Mars. It was kind of funny. My ex made it kind of, I'm sure they have scientific advisors on this movie, Jordan. And then my kid showed up the next day and said, "You were right, Dad." Teacher said that it was impossible for that to have happened. It's too bad that I always needed outside confirmation that I was right about something. But in any event, yeah, that was a moment of redemption for me. So in any event, as far as these cargoes are concerned, I'm actually kind of impressed with the variation, especially the water electrolyzer. What they're going to try to do is, I hope, is take some lunar regolith and extract some of the water that's in the regolith. And there is water distributed throughout the regolith, throughout the moon, just not in huge amounts in this region of the moon. But they're going to see exactly how much water they really can extract from the regolith, perhaps, and try to process it to see just how practical it might be to try to get water reserves in other parts of the moon besides the South Pole. We'll go ahead and bring Ispace back.
Well, according to the schedule, we have about 13 minutes left until Resilience lands. everyone here at the venue and watching online. It's almost time. It's really exciting. Let's hear your excitement. There you have your resilience towels. We just now heard the announcement. Breaking burn phase. So the phase 3 breaking burn has just started. It will take 10 minutes to decelerate. So 2,000 kilometers per hour, is now will rapidly be decelerated. Right. I hope that this excitement of this venue is coming through on the stream as well. We're just moments away from Japan's and Asia's first ever private lunar landing. Now, even if mission 2 ends in a successful landing, that doesn't mean it's the final goal for Ispace. That's right. I'd like us to take a step back from the mission at hand and talk a bit about Ispace's future that lies ahead. So let's welcome Junpei Nozaki, Ispace's CFO and Executive Business Director. Nozaki-san, please join us. Well, finally, we're here. Yeah, it has started, really. Right, thank you for joining us. So question to Nozaki-san. I often get questions from investors like, what's next after mission 2? If it succeeds or if the landing doesn't go as planned, does that mean it's all over? So some concerns and some questions, what would you say to these? I completely understand, those questions and concerns, but please rest assured, Mission 2 is incredibly important, but just as important is the fact that Ispace is committed to going to the moon again and again, and we do have this, after Mission 2, we plan to launch in Mission 3 and Mission 4 towards the moon by 2027. Right. And so we'll be using the Apex 1.0 lander, this image, and our Series 3 lander for those missions. We actually have a video of the latest prototype of the Series 3 lander. Right. So this is currently under development, Series 3. Cool looking, and it's even larger than the current and resilience lander, standing over 3 meters tall. And it's designed to carry several hundred kilograms of clients and payload to the moon, much more than before. And, instead of, the 4 to 5 months it used to take, this new model will reach the moon in just about 1 month. You're actually doing everything in a very fast speed. And it's really important that we prepare future missions. Without these future missions, we can't really leverage all these learnings that we get from a mission 2. And even if a mission 2 doesn't result in a successful landing, the next mission lined up means that we will have a direct way to apply the insights and the data. Right, so that's the very spirit of never quit the lunar quest, right? So we're going to continue going to the moon, getting to the moon, so please be with us throughout the journey. Well, it's almost time for the landing, so 9L minus 9 minutes. So let's have, the CEO founder, Hakamada-san, coming on stage. Morning, Hakamada-san. Good morning, everybody. Luxembourg and U.S. members, good evening. Well, this is, finally we're here. How are you feeling right now? Well, led by our engineers, we've carried out Mission 2 by fully applying the lessons and experiences gained from Mission 1. And, and Mission 2 too, even before, this is amazing that we have come this far. engineers did everything they possibly could. So I want to face this landing moment with everybody with confidence, trusting everything we've done to get here. Right. Thank you very much for sharing what's in your mind. I guess in each and every day, every lesson that we've learned is being put to use in this mission to lunar landing and surface exploration. Yes, and I'd like to take this opportunity to sincerely thank everyone who has consistently supported Ispace all over the world, and then because of your support that we've been able to take on these challenges. And this is a really late at night or early in the morning, and so many of you are here with us, and so many people in Luxembourg and in US. I'm just really excited that we have so many peers and friends and families and everyone who's expecting a lot, in Ispace. And so great support, great excitement, and great expectations. So this long journey has been long, and it's been a tremendous, endless support. And so to our partner companies, payload and customers and clients, government bodies, space agencies, shareholders, financial institutions, suppliers, investors, media members. And the list goes on, and employees, and all these Ispace members, and friends and family, those the member dear and near to our members. We are really grateful, and we're very happy. And I'd also like to thank MSBC for their support as an official partner of Hakuto-R, and for providing this wonderful venue. So engineers has been at the core, and we've been doing everything we possibly could, and let's witness and let's experience this moment. And I'm just extremely happy that I can experience this with you all, and the journey continues, and I hope that you will continue to be a part of it. Well, thank you, Hakamada-san. Well, it's almost time. It's L-5 minutes, and I'm getting nervous. Yeah, so from here on, we will bring you live commentary from Hitachi-san alongside our leading landing simulation footage. So where are we? So in terms of phase, we're already in the third phase, of braking burn phase, and 1,800 kilometers per hour. It was 5,000 kilometers per hour, and then it's drastically less. And now we're 10 kilometers.
Finally getting telemetry, guys. I was getting worried about that for a minute. It took them a long time to get us telemetry.
Distant from the surface, but it actually, the deceleration is really fast. So please. So after this becomes less than 10 kilometers, it's going to be even faster how deceleration happens. This is on par with our plan, and landing site, we're only 30 kilometers or 40 kilometers away from the landing site, so we're very, very close already. All right, thank you very much for the explanation. And then those
40 kilometers away, traveling at 1,300 kph.
Time to
better slow down quickly.
On the screen, even this shows 0, and even
boy, they are reducing speed quickly.
0.
Look at that drop off.
We don't know if the has successfully landed. It would look they successfully landed on the simulation, but we need to verify the state of the lander and MCC, and we need to wait for the official announcement. So you might get excited as soon as you see 0.
6.5 kilometers altitude.
We will hear the the live announcement, over the speaker, and let's celebrate, when we hear the official announcement. So this is going to be
go ahead and do that.
Quiet moment, waiting for the very, very special moment. But
okay. For the moment, I'm going to go ahead and continue to listen to their commentary up to this point, but we're going to go ahead and just bring you a play-by-play of this descent and landing attempt. We are approximately 3 minutes away from the estimated time of landing. Again, that's according to the simulations. The status of the telemetry may not be 100% accurate. Look how much velocity they've shed. They were going well over almost 1,500 kilometers per hour. Now they're down to 300, and it's dropping even further. Altitude now approximately 3.5 kilometers. And man, look at that speed dropping off. They're just barely over 200 kilometers per hour now. And the altitude is just plunging. Less than a kilometer now. They are hovering 3,000 feet above the lunar surface. Boy, look at how fast it's dropping off. This is a little worrisome. We'll see here. Again, all of this may just be, oh my God. Okay, the telemetry obviously is incorrect now. I think it's possible that they just smashed into the moon. Let's hope not, but I think it's possible that they just smashed straight into the moon. But let's see. Don't give up yet. Nope. Telemetry is incorrect, guys. Telemetry is incorrect. All right, we're waiting. I think it's possible that they may have just slammed into the moon. Oh boy, I do not like the reactions I'm seeing from the staff. I do not like these reactions. Guys, this does not look good. Doesn't look good. Waiting on the stats, but I don't see people paying attention to telemetry. I see a lot of very, very depressed faces. Yeah, near as I can tell at this point, I would say that there's a decent chance that Hakuto-R has just slammed into the moon at a high velocity. Looks like they may have had a failure with the braking burn, because that altitude dropped off way too quickly. There's a lot of anxiety here. I mean, and most probably failure. But we're still waiting for confirmation, guys. We're not going to give up on it yet, but nevertheless, with telemetry gone and with the numbers that we were seeing, may take a while before we get confirmation of loss of vehicle. We can't say for certain that is what has happened yet, guys. We can't say that for certain. But then again, looking at the reactions and the faces that we're seeing right now, I see no evidence to suggest that we still have a lander in operation. I think instead what we have is a lander that has slammed into the lunar surface. Just a devastating, devastating moment, if indeed that is the case. Pretty much identical to the fate that befell the last Ispace lander. And you also see what appears to be an evacuation of staff. There seems to be a lot of staff leaving the room at this point. Yeah. I okay. We're probably going to lose their feed, to be honest. Waiting. All right. Okay, so at this point, they're just showing us more corporate videos and such. And guys, I mean, even though it's it's easy for us to it's easy to criticize these folks for being self-congratulatory prior to this, but it is an accomplishment just getting something like this all the way to the moon. There are other private companies, for example, Astrobotic, on their first attempt, they didn't even get anywhere near the moon. Their lander malfunctioned almost immediately after separating from the Vulcan Centaur that launched it. So these are the sorts of things that can, but still, I mean, for this to happen 2 times in a row, that's just a very, very grim result. And again, it's the sort of result I think we can expect to happen when you're not spending, when you have such a shoestring budget for these sorts of things. I think that the whole idea that the private sector can do everything NASA can do for way cheaper, that concept is being tested very seriously right now. It is. Oh, okay. We've got another YouTube stream to put us in a better mood, I think, after this. So, in any event, but yeah, I mean, again, I think that this is a lesson learned a little bit, and a an open question as to whether or not this private CLPS approach, which, by the way, iSpace is not a CLPS lander, but it's built on the same concept, trying to get everything done that NASA used to be able to do for a whole lot less. We're talking 1/6 the price, or perhaps even less than that. And when you're trying to do something as complicated as landing on the moon for that kind of cut rate budget, you're going to encounter failures, a lot of failures before you have a success. The only real shining example of a success up to this point with this whole philosophy of utilizing private, low cost private landers to land on the moon has been the Firefly Blue Ghost. That was the only one that was completely successful. Every other landing has either failed completely or at least had a partial failure, tumbling over, something like that. Firefly was the only one that pulled off a successful landing. And again, that's not to say that these companies don't have the right stuff or they don't have the knowledge or any of that sort of thing. They just don't, without the necessary funding. they're going to have a very challenging time trying to set down. There aren't as many redundancy systems. There aren't as many backup thrusters. This may have been just a situation of a thruster or two failing, and a more resilient NASA lander with 6 times the budget might have had quite a number of backup engines in order to handle a scenario like that, whereas something built on a much smaller budget might not have been able to pull it off. And here's the big question now. If this is happening with unmanned landers, what's going to happen when we try to put human beings on the surface of the moon, utilizing, again, private companies for a reduced price? SpaceX has demonstrated that it can be done, that they can make human space flight both cheap and affordable with Crew Dragon. They've definitely been able to do that. But there are quite a number of other examples of failed attempts with private companies trying to do these sorts of things as well. And that could make it very, very challenging, I think, in the future to carry this whole thing out exclusively with private companies. I still think that companies and organizations like NASA that have the funding and the know-how and the experience in doing these sorts of things, they still might want to take on at least the more important aspects. That is to say, the human-rated landings on the moon. Those still we might want to do the old-fashioned way. Again, hard to say for certain. There's still a lot of private landers to come, so it's hard to say for sure. Mike says these lunar landers do not have the RCS thrusters to control yaw and roll while rotating into a vertical orientation due to funding. Very good point, Mike. And that is indeed the case. So at this stage, we're waiting for Ispace to come back, but I'll tell you, I hate to say it, but at this stage, if they don't have any information at all, no telemetry, no information, the only thing we're waiting on now is the details on exactly how the spacecraft slammed into the moon. A very depressing result for Ispace and for Japan. So a letdown, to say the least. And also for ESA, for the United States branches of Ispace, all of the people that were involved in this, definitely a disappointing thing. The fact that they got it to the moon is an impressive accomplishment. But really, in this day and age, when we're trying to set up a permanent presence on the lunar surface, we're going to need to do a little better than that. Thanks very much for watching, folks. Really, really appreciate you tuning in. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, please consider supporting this channel either through your generous super chats or on Patreon. All the details in the description. And until next time, stay angry about space.